600,000 people die every year in the United States from heart disease. The number one killer in the US for each of the last 70 years. But unlike some diseases, oftentimes this is 100% preventable because we have been fixated on the wrong ideas about what causes heart disease. Because we have been too focused on how to treat heart disease instead of how to prevent it.
Meet Dr. Philip Ovadia, elite heart surgeon, 20-year veteran. Ironically, though a heart surgeon himself, he developed morbid obesity and pre-diabetes. This was him in 2014. This is him today, healthy and hearty.
6 years ago now, I found myself at a spot where I was morbidly obese. I was pre-diabetic. Over the intervening years, I was able to lose over 100 pounds.
The medical world blamed cholesterol for decades, but what if they were wrong? What if heart disease's real trigger is something you consume daily? Dr. Ovadia cracked the code, not just in the operating room, but on his own body. He defied conventional wisdom, reversed his own disease, and now prevents it in his patients. Discover the heart-saving secrets Dr. Ovadia learned after saving hundreds of patients. Watch this video till the end to unlock the exact diet plan that reversed his heart disease and his patients. Let us get started. Dr. Ovadia reveals the real cause of heart disease. For decades, we've all heard the same story. Watch your cholesterol, avoid saturated fat, your heart depends on it. Every doctor's visit, every health article, every food label warning you about the same villains. The evidence has been misinterpreted for years, he argues. So what is the true culprit behind America's #1 killer?
We have had many, I would say, misunderstandings, and physicians have been misled to believe that cholesterol and dietary saturated fat are the primary drivers of heart disease. We now know that not to be true. That hypothesis has been, I would say, thoroughly disproven on many levels. And when we really want to look at the root cause of heart disease, it comes down to damage to the blood vessel walls from inflammation and primarily from insulin resistance. There are some other things that contribute, like smoking, that can cause damage to the blood vessel walls, heavy metal toxicities, other things. But the primary driver of heart disease is insulin resistance and poor metabolic health.
Ovadia shockingly claims it's not cholesterol killing your heart, it's insulin resistance and poor metabolic health. This hidden epidemic affects 88% of Americans, triggering inflammation that damages blood vessels and fuels diabetes, obesity, and heart attacks.
I know that if we were to focus on that to the same degree that we focused on lowering cholesterol, we would have a major impact on the incidence of heart disease.
So we know insulin resistance is bad news. But what's causing it? Dr. Ovadia points straight to the plate. The top foods fueling insulin resistance and inflammation that you need to avoid. According to him, highly processed foods is the biggest offender.
First, have to look at the processed foods. These are the things that come in the packages, in the boxes, in the bag. These are the things that have these long ingredient lists. And in particular, they have two components that are problematic. The first is highly processed carbohydrates. Flours and the sugars aren't really anywhere close to their natural form.
All right, let's get specific. Dr. Ovadia says the key to better metabolic health is cutting out the processed stuff. Foods made with refined flours such as bread, breakfast cereals, pastries, regular pasta, and crackers. You also need to avoid ultra-processed foods like packaged snacks, fast food, and chips. They are packed with a dangerous combo of sugars, starches, and bad fats that wreck your insulin sensitivity. Want to protect your metabolism? Dr. Ovadia says ditch processed seed and vegetable oils next.
And then we have the vegetable and the seed oils. These are adulterated, manufactured fats that, again, our bodies did not see these things until our very recent history. They do not exist in nature, and they have some unique and problematic effects when we consume them that I believe are major contributors to these chronic diseases that we're seeing.
Sugar is a major metabolic enemy. Ovadia says, eliminate foods loaded with added sugar, table sugar, candies, sodas, desserts, and sweetened beverages. These are pure metabolic poison.
Sugar needs to be very carefully consumed, if at all. And if you are metabolically broken, if you're insulin resistant, that means that your body is intolerant of sugar and carbohydrates. And the best way to manage that is to eliminate it.
If you're fighting insulin resistance, Dr. Ovadia advises strategic fruit choices. Avoid binging on high fructose fruits.
Our body doesn't really differentiate much between, or if at all, between natural sugars that are in fruit and, the processed sugar. It's all sugar. It all goes through the same metabolic pathways. That it can't process it well. And so any amount is going to be harmful, whether it's coming from the piece of fruit or the candy bar. It's still all sugar.
Up next, we're diving into the revolutionary eating plan that transformed Dr. Ovadia's life, completely reversing his heart disease and his patients. Here is the essential diet to defeat insulin resistance and supercharge metabolic health.
The first principle that people need to be following when they're thinking about what to eat is to eat whole, real food. Eat the things that grow in the ground. Now, as we're making these dietary changes, I want people to focus on metabolic health and insulin resistance. That should be your guidepost. If what you're eating is improving your metabolic health, then I am all in favor of it, and that is a good dietary strategy for you. Not only is there not one right diet for everyone, but even for each individual at different times, at different points in your life, depending on where you are in terms of that metabolic health, the dietary strategy may need to change some.
Not all whole foods are equal. Pick those suited to your metabolic condition. For example,
if you're not metabolically healthy, fruit should be off your menu.
After struggling with obesity and heart disease, Dr. Ovadia experimented with keto, low carb, and paleo with mixed results. What finally worked? The carnivore diet. Yes, it's controversial. And yes, it challenges everything we've been taught about red meat, cholesterol, and heart risks.
There are improvements that I noticed on carnivore that while I had lots of improvements on keto, low carb, paleo, all of that stuff, carnivore really got me to what I feel is my best point. And the second reason I maintain my carnivore lifestyle is because I find it easiest to do. I just eat animal-based products, and that's what has kept me with it now for over 4 years.
Mainstream medicine warns that saturated fats in red meat may raise LDL cholesterol, a potential risk factor. Will red meat actually cause heart disease?
Absolutely not. And at this point, we have more than enough evidence. Many of the guidelines that initially, had limitations on saturated fat have actually removed those limitations because the science simply just doesn't support it. I am absolutely confident in saying that dietary saturated fat is not causing heart disease.
Dr. Ovadia argues high cholesterol alone rarely harms heart health in most people. Why? Because fixing metabolic dysfunction is the real priority, not obsessing over cholesterol numbers.
It's not the amount of your cholesterol that we should be concerned about. It's the quality of your cholesterol that we need to be concerned about. And it's the environment that cholesterol is functioning in. And again, this is where we circle back to things like insulin resistance. Because ultimately, if you have a lot of non-damaged, healthy cholesterol particles around, and your blood vessel walls are not being damaged on a constant basis, there is no evidence that LDL cholesterol, elevated LDL cholesterol, is harmful to us. Cholesterol-lowering medications are the most widely prescribed class of medications. Our LDL cholesterol levels on a societal basis have lowered, and yet we're not seeing a noticeable impact on the incidence of heart disease. Patients that end up on my operating table, they're on the medications, they've changed the diet, they're lowered their LDL cholesterol, and they're still ending up on my operating table.
In the final segment, Dr. Ovadia reveals the true key to sustainable weight loss. While cardio gets all the attention, resistance training delivers superior results, by building muscle mass, dramatically boosting your metabolism, accelerating fat loss, and extending your healthy years, it's time to rethink your approach to fitness.
Prioritize building muscle first and foremost before you're doing the cardio. And there's many reasons for that, but ultimately muscle is more metabolically active, will help us lose fat, and will help us to maintain our metabolic health. If after you've put proper time and energy into building and maintaining your muscle mass, if you want to add some cardio, great, but understand that it's not necessary. I know plenty of people that have optimized their metabolic health without ever stepping on a treadmill or, running long distances. Maintaining muscle mass is a much more important factor as we're looking to improve our metabolic health and as we look at things like predictors of longevity and health span.
Dr. Ovadia boldly challenges the conventional wisdom, rejecting calorie counting as a viable weight loss strategy. The calories in, calories out model crumbles under scrutiny. Food labels are wildly inaccurate. Metabolic rates vary dramatically between individuals, and different foods trigger unique thermogenic responses in your body.
I really don't think that counting calories is a useful strategy. When we look at the whole concept of calories in, calories out, what we see is that there are problems on both sides of that equation. When we're looking at the calories in, the reality is that we do a very lousy job of counting calories when we try. There is a, 10 to 20% error in the label as to the amount of calories that food actually contains. Again, not all calories are the same. And there are things like the thermogenic effects of food that don't get accounted for when we are, calculating these calories. On the other side of the equation, we have no good way of determining how many calories we burn. Outside of a laboratory setting, this is notoriously difficult to estimate, and these formulas that we use to try and estimate it are inaccurate. And again, the amount of calories that we're burning are going to be influenced by the types of calories, the types of food that we're eating, and then things like activity, muscle mass, all of these complex things. So calories in, calories out just does not work as a model for weight loss.
Dr. Ovadia highlights fasting's powerful ability to combat insulin resistance and trigger weight loss, but cautions it's not for everyone. While effective for many, those already undernourished or trapped in chronic dieting cycles should steer clear. This nuanced approach recognizes that weight loss strategies must be personalized for true success.
Yeah, so I don't think fasting is essential, but I think it can be a great tool, especially if you're looking to lose weight. There are a number of people that come at this situation that they're not necessarily overweight, but they are insulin resistant. And in that situation, fasting might not be the best tool for them or might be more difficult. People who are chronically undernourished, have been dieting chronically, like many of us have, at first, fasting might not be the right tool. In general, if you're, overweight and obese, if you're insulin resistant, probably, integrating some component of fasting is going to be useful for you.
Our next video reveals science-backed secrets to longevity that you can't afford to miss. Hit play now. Your future self will thank you.